Alright guys, welcome back to More Trauma Team. We're on part 4, and we're going to do the first event for Naomi here, so let's go ahead and get started. It's probably just going to be a cutscene, and then we'll start the second event of hers. Cumberland Institute of Forensic Medicine.
Ah, come in.
Did you call for me, Chief Wayne?
Ah, good morning, Naomi. It seems the FBI needs your expertise. I'd like you to head over to the scene immediately.
I'm a medical examiner, not a police officer.
Don't be like that. I can't just turn the government down.
Fine. Well then.
Oh, and Naomi, one more thing. Here's our liaison from the FBI. You should meet him.
You?
Special Investigator Naval. A pleasure to meet you, Doctor.
Yes. Nice to meet you too. What are you doing? You, an FBI agent? This must be a joke.
Please keep your voice down. It's been a while, hasn't it? I didn't have the luxury of witness protection, like you.
Just shut up. I'm only here because it's my job. I have nothing to do with you faking your way into the FBI. And don't you ever talk about my past again.
Whatever you say, ma'am.
Good.
Whoa, where are you going?
To the crime scene. Send the address to my GPS.
Oh, I'll have them bring the car around.
You are waiting here. Tell your people on site I'm coming.
But,
Nice tie there, little guy. Be a good boy and stay.
Doctor! Oh, well.
We've received word about you. Miss Kimishima, is it?
Good. This'll make things easier. Where's the victim?
He's over here. This way, please.
Victim is Dennis Taylor, 30-year-old male. Neighbor called in the fire. The fireman found him. The knife in his hand matched the cut wounds. Probably suicide.
Huh. What's this?
Oh, that's where the fire started, likely before the suicide. Miss Kimishima?
Are you feeling all right?
This was murder. Send the corpse to CIFM immediately. I'll examine it. I want all finger and footprints found in that room. If you find anything, contact me directly. I'll be at the lab.
What was that about?
Well, she does work at the forensic medicine laboratory. Supposedly, she solved a lot of cases for the FBI.
The FBI?
That's right. That means we need to keep out of this. Come on, hurry down to the car for the fingerprint powder.
Oh, right away.
Let's begin. This is Dr. Naomi Kimishima, ID 422194.
Okay, well, there was phone audio there. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it. It actually came through the Wii remote, so I put it up next to the microphone, but I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to hear that. But anyways, Dennis Taylor, age 30, male, gender man was found dead in his apartment, and they think it's a suicide, I guess.
Hey, little guy. Tell me what we know so far about this.
Firefighters found the body. The door was locked.
Oh, right. The victim's 30-year-old Dennis Taylor. At 3:30 p.m., someone in the same building reported a fire. The firefighters found the body in bed 20 minutes later. He had a knife in one hand and a deep wound on his wrist. The door was closed and chained. It's being ruled suicide.
Nonsense. Is that your personal opinion or your FBI training?
Well, isn't that the most reasonable fitting explanation?
I thought people learned when they grew older.
Doctor, what do you mean by that?
Let's begin. Show me how this life's flame was snuffed out.
Okay, well, the first episode, we did a character that was near the end. So that was like one entire episode with just one character, so I'm thinking maybe this would be the same. But anyways, we'll start the autopsy, I guess. Now let's first take a look at the corpse. I've had the body taken to the evidence room. You're free to examine it whenever you want. Alright, I'll head over there right now. Dr. Kimishima, one more thing before you go. What now? The information that we know up to this point has been sent to your computer. If you don't mind, would you please check that out? Alright, I'll take a look at my computer then. Alright, information gathered is displayed on the computer as hint cards. Grab a card with A and B and release the card in top right. Practice by analyzing the knife hint card. Alright, is this the knife that was in the corpse's hands? I'll look into it over here. Can you give me some time? Alright, there's nothing more I can tell you about this information. Do you have anything else? Guess that's probably it. Or was I supposed to click on that again? I'm not sure. The knife one. Alright, I've asked little guy to run an analysis on the blood on it. Alright, I guess that's it. Use recorder. This is a voice recorder. I don't have any use for it at the moment though. It may have some purpose later on though. I should remember where I found this. Alright, point the place you want to go and press A. If there are multiple places, use A to select one. Alright, point at the corpse on the autopsy table and press A. point at the items to use them, I guess. Alright, let's check out the clothes first, I guess. Alright, effects exam, camera controls. Alright, let's get a look at the personal effects. A button on the shirt. No, how about the blood on the shirt? The deceased was wearing a white dress shirt. There are blood stains on the left sleeve. Is there anything else? I doubt it's gonna say anything new, but... yeah, I'm not really, like, seeing anything else, but... Alright, let's go ahead and exit, I guess. Alright, we'll check the body. Alright, so same thing, I guess. It's time to begin examining the body, I guess. Yeah, let's not examine the butt.
This wound on the wrist is believed to be the cause of death. Even though this looks like a self-inflicted wound made with a sharp knife, there's something unnatural about it.
Alright, select an answer with A and then select OK. Incorrect answers lower the upper left gauge. If it empties, you fail. Select exit to come back to a quiz later. Alright, I don't know. I don't know anything like that yet. There's something here, I guess.
Is this a bruise? It's oddly shaped, though.
Alright, the flower-shaped bruise was obtained. I don't know if his eyes are supposed to be something. There's something odd about the eyeballs here. I guess red spots. Alright, eye abnormality.
Yes, there appear to be spots of hemorrhaging in the eyeballs. This isn't a common condition. Perhaps I should ask Little Guy about it.
Not really like seeing anything else, but... wonder what like the wrist answer would be. Like there'd be something on his hand, like his other hand. His finger's weird.
There's something odd about the index finger on the right hand.
Maybe fracture. Alright, abnormal finger.
We can't say what's wrong with it for sure until it's sent in for analysis, though.
Alright, I guess that's it for now. I've collected most of the information I could, but there's something still bothering me. What could it be? Wait a moment, something's not right. Huh, what's the matter? The corpse, I have the feeling that there's still something out of place concerning it. I need to go back to the evidence room and study it again in further detail. I'm gonna go back here first. Alright, it would seem that there's more I can learn from the body and the personal effects. Yeah, I'm gonna go in here first and look at all this stuff. Now let's try sorting through the information that's been gathered so far.
Hemorrhaging in the eyes, you say? It's a condition called petechia, caused by increased blood pressure and spasms in the blood vessels. It's commonly found as a sign of death by asphyxiation.
Wait a second, that doesn't seem right. If I recall correctly, the victim...
The wrists, I guess?
The cause of death was thought to be hemorrhaging from a slashed wrist. If the cause of death is asphyxiation, it's possible that we are dealing with a homicide.
There's no mistake. This finger is fractured. Can you send me the details? We'll get an x-ray performed as soon as possible. Oh, and I have one more piece of good news, Dr. Kimishima. I've received a recording from HQ, a witness's account.
Great, that will be useful. Who's the witness?
It's the deceased's neighbor. We've asked her some questions about the day of the incident.
Perfect timing. Maybe we'll be able to use her account to determine when the fire started.
Alright, so now we can use the recorder to, I guess, listen to the neighbor's account. Alright, the topic neighbor's condition has been added to the neighbor's account on
I'll
the
send
recorder.
the data over to you. Please check it using the recorder in your room.
Okay, I guess we'll have to figure that out later. I don't know if we can use this yet. Alright, the neighbor is Kirsten Langley, age 70, female, dentist's neighbor. She was asked about what she'd observed on the day of the incident. I don't know if this is going to be on the Wii remote or not, so I hope not. Alright, listen to the witness's account, press A to hear the witness's statement. Point at words related to the topic in the upper left and press A.
Yes, that's right. Oh, it's been so hot lately. I've been keeping the window that faces out into the street open because of the heat. That's how I could hear my neighbor so clearly. It was, let me think, around 3 in the afternoon? Yes, it must have been. I was watching Farewell Danny at the time. I heard this loud noise from my neighbor's room, and
A noise from next door. There must be more to this.
then the fire alarm started going off a little after that. I was really surprised. I think it was about 10 minutes. I looked out the window and saw smoke coming.
So there was a 10-minute period between the noise and when the fire started.
I looked out the window and saw smoke coming from next door. I ran over to my neighbor's door, but nobody answered when I pounded on it.
Understandable, since her neighbor's apartment was on fire.
I ran over to my neighbor's door, but nobody answered when I pounded on it. But I had to see if there was anyone in there, so I pulled on the door.
Yeah, well, you would think, like, the door handle would be hot if there was a fire, so that doesn't make any sense to me.
It was chained from the inside, and no one answered me when I yelled. Yes, the fire truck came soon after that. A firefighter cut the chain on the door and went inside. My neighbor? No, it seems he lived alone. Oh, but I remember an electrician came at around noon.
Well, you would think like
But I
any
remember
strange
an
person.
electrician came at around noon. Yes, I heard him talking outside the front door, so I don't think I could be mistaken.
Is that like any evidence there? Alright, so if he was like choked, he should have something on his neck.
This wound on the wrist is believed to be the cause of death. Even though this looks like a self-inflicted wound made with a sharp knife, there's something unnatural about it.
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, he does have the eyes, so maybe that's like pain reaction. Does look like blood, so. Guess that? I don't know.
How could I do that? That was careless.
Alright, wounded wrist.
That's right. There's only the one wound on the wrist. A single slash deep enough to reach the artery. No matter who it is, pain is an immediate response to a cut. No one should be able to make a single cut this clean and deep without flinching. I can't say this is proof of homicide, but I can't ignore this incongruity.
Alright, that should wrap up what I can learn from here. I should review the gathered information. There are a few things bothering me about this corpse. There's an eye abnormality, a wounded wrist, and an abnormal finger. Let's get back to the office, I guess. I can use my computer to sort out the information that I've gathered. I should try doing that now with what I've learned so far. Select the computer, yeah. The investigator is trying to contact you through the computer. Point to the panel in the upper right on the screen and press A to talk to him. Now let's try this sorting out through the information that's been gathered so far.
Dr. Kimishima, the results of the examination of the knife have come in. Let's see, the knife itself is a cheap common brand sold all over the country. It'll be difficult to locate where the knife came from. The blood left on the blade matches the deceased's. Only his fingerprints were found on the handle as well.
I see. At least one thing is clear now. That is...
The knife cut Dennis, I guess? Alright, knife has become deadly knife.
Yes, this knife is believed to have been used to slit the victim's wrist. Even then, we can't prove that unless we compare it to the wound.
Alright, grab a card with A and B and place it on another card. Oh, great. If it is correct combination, the two cards will fuse together. I did want to go ahead and check this. No, okay.
The shape of the knife blade corresponds with the wound found on the wrist. This means that...
it was used, I guess.
Indeed. This appears to be an open and shut case. Then again, this all seems a little too convenient for me.
Okay, so now I'm not sure. Guess I'll go ahead and save it here.
I've been keeping the window that faces out into the street open because of the heat. That's how I could hear my neighbor so clearly. It was, let me think, around 3 in the afternoon.
How would she be so sure about what time it was?
It was, let me think, around 3 in the afternoon? Yes, it must have been. I was watching Farewell Danny at the time. I heard this loud noise from my neighbor's room, and then the fire alarm started going off a little after that.
A loud noise followed by the fire. That may be a clue.
Alright, the neighbor's account has been
The
obtained.
way she described it, the sound doesn't seem to have been something exploding. Could the noise have been made by someone in the room? Or something else?
Alright, so there was a noise coming from the room at around 3 p.m., and then the fire started. The fire really started after the noise began. We should be able to narrow down the victim's time of death to some extent. Alright, time to use the computer to sort out this new information.
The room was sealed, and the neighbor heard the sounds at around 3 p.m. The fire occurred not long after that. What we can deduce from that is...
The neighbor heard noises coming from Dennis's room at around 3 p.m., and the fire started afterwards. This suggests that... Guess there. Alright, Dennis's time of death.
That's right. At least, that's all we can determine using our current information. The deceased was alone at the time, so there's a good chance he made the noise. Still, we need more information to see if there was anyone else in the room when it happened.
The topic was anyone there has been added. Alright, new. Was anyone there? Okay.
Yes, that's right. Oh, it's been so hot lately. I've been keeping the window that faces out into the street open because of the heat. That's how I could hear my neighbor so clearly. It was, let me think, around 3 in the afternoon? Yes, it must have been. I was watching Farewell Danny at the time. I heard this loud noise from my neighbor's room, and then the fire alarm started going off a little after that. I was really surprised. I think it was about 10 minutes. I looked out the window and saw smoke coming from next door. I ran over to my neighbor's door, but nobody answered when I pounded on it. But I had to see if there was anyone in there, so I pulled on the door. It was chained from the inside, and no one answered me when I yelled. Yes, the fire truck came soon after that. A firefighter cut the chain on the door and went inside. A firefighter cut the chain on the door and went inside. My neighbor? No, it seems he lived alone. Oh, but I remember an electrician came at around noon.
So an electrician had come to the deceased's room that day at around noon. That was much earlier than when the fire supposedly started, but we should investigate it.
Alright, it seems the little guy is trying to contact me. Should turn on my computer and hear what he has to say.
Ah, little guy. Perfect timing. It seems an electrician entered the deceased's room around noon on the day of the incident. If he's talked to your people, can you ask them for the recordings of the interview?
All right, I'll contact them immediately.
Please do. How's the analysis going?
Well, regarding the fracture on the corpse's finger, the right index finger was fractured by an external force. It's rather odd. There are no signs of healing in the fractured area.
No traces of healing. That would mean... That's right. Reactions to injury, like minute healing and hypodermic hemorrhaging, are vital reactions. They only occur while the body is still alive. Thus, if there were no vital reactions to this broken bone, the fracture happened... It must have occurred after the person was already dead.
That would have to be the case. Oh, and to be clear, there's no way that the body was damaged during transport. We take the utmost precautions when moving bodies.
Huh. I hadn't considered that until you brought it up. Still, I'll take your word for it. If his index finger was broken, using the hand would have caused a great deal of pain. With that in mind, he shouldn't have been able to use his right hand all that well.
Okay. Alright, probably these two.
There was a wound in the left wrist and a fractured finger on the right hand. This seems odd because...
Alright, the knife was in an injured hand, I guess.
Yes, the deceased would have had to hold the knife in his injured hand to cut his left wrist. Then he would have had to cut deep enough to sever the artery, putting pressure on his broken finger. Even if he was right-handed, this situation just doesn't add up.
Hello, Dr. Kimishima.
Cut the small talk. What do you want?
So cold. HQ's questioned the electrician that the neighbor mentioned. I've sent you the recordings. It seems HQ already knew who he was, so there wasn't a problem.
Now we'll find out why that electrician went to the deceased's room.
Alright, so let's check that out. Alright, Liam Richardson, 31, male. An electrician who visited Dennis's room the day of the incident. He was asked about what happened that day.
Yes? Oh, yes, that's right. A murder? Yes, that's fine. He said his air was broken and needed to be fixed. That was...
He fixed the air. We should focus on that. There's nothing odd about having a repairman come to work on the ventilation system. But, at the very least, Dennis was still alive when the electrician came. We need to learn about the deceased's condition at that time.
We'll have to check more, like...
Yes? Oh, was broken and needed to be fixed. That was around noon, I think? I got the call earlier that day. Yes. He said he needed it fixed that day, so I went straight there when I finished the job I was doing. Yeah, it was really quick. All I had to do was swap out a cable. Right. I think I was only there for about an hour.
Just an hour, so there's quite a gap between when he left and when the fire started in the room.
Right. I think I was only there. Yes, I fixed his heater.
He repaired the heater at this time of year. It's been a warm spring.
The customer? Well, the way he looked, I wouldn't be surprised if he committed suicide.
It wouldn't be surprising if the deceased committed suicide. Sounds like an important detail. Does that mean the deceased had a motive for killing himself?
Alright, maybe we just keep going with this. I don't know which one we're
It
on.
was really cool. Yes. The customer. Well, the way he looked, around 3 p.m.? No, I wouldn't have a clue. I was already fixing a washing machine at my next appointment's house at that time.
So it clearly wasn't there around 3 p.m. Okay. What is this? The electrician said that Dennis seemed depressed when they met on the day of the incident. Does this fit with my other information?
Yes, these pieces of information do go together. On the day of the incident, the electrician had been asked to repair the deceased's air. The electrician went to the deceased's room at noon and left after finishing his work. Both the deceased's neighbor and the electrician himself agree on this.
Yeah, I don't know. Anything else?
Indeed, both of these facts relate to the deceased. The last time the deceased was seen alive was...
I guess between noon and 1.
That's right. At that time, he seemed...
Depressed, I guess.
Yes. This comes from the electrician's testimony. The last time we believe the deceased could have been alive is...
Around 3.
Indeed. The neighbor reports hearing a sound from the room at that time. Within an hour after that, a fire started in his room. The deceased was later discovered dead. That's all we know at this point.
Alright, some of these look like I'll be able to learn more by asking little guy about them.
Hey, little guy. I want to go through the information that we've gathered so far.
All right, let's piece it all together step by step.
Let's do that.
The deceased, Dennis Taylor, was found dead in his apartment. Let's see. His body was discovered because...
Yes, but by the time firefighters arrived on the scene, the fire had already gone out. His corpse was found on the bed.
That's right. The FBI and police initially ruled this case as a suicide. The reason for that was... That's correct. The other reason was...
Indeed, the slashed wrist and the chained door point towards suicide. It would seem he was so desperate for death that he would both slit his wrist and set his room on fire. That isn't a surprising conclusion.
The knife blade does match the shape of the wound in the wrist. matches his DNA. Lastly, the deceased's fingerprints were found on the handle of the knife.
Those are all true, but there was something odd about that wound on his wrist. First, another point is, his finger was fractured. Would he have been able to use a knife with a wounded hand?
It's very unlikely, but that's not the only thing that raises doubt. If he did die of the knife wound, he would have bled to death. However, investigating the corpse points to a different cause of death. That is...
That's right, the petechia on the eyes, and the strange bruise on his abdomen. There's more than enough evidence to doubt that this was a suicide.
But according to the electrician's statement, the victim seemed like he might be in a state to commit suicide.
Indeed, there are too many uncertainties to be able to draw a conclusion at this point. I'm going to have to investigate the scene for myself. Little guy, get me approval to enter the area.
Oh, understood. You shouldn't have a problem, Dr. Kimishima. I'm sure my bosses will approve you right away.
Yes, but I don't intend to waste any time. I'm going there right now. You deal with the rest on your end.
Okay, so this is like a really long investigation here. Go ahead and save it again, I guess. Now I need to begin investigating the scene. Crime scene is now available. From now on, you'll be able to visit that location whenever you want. Alright, nothing seems to catch her attention.
This is where the deceased's corpse was. If this bloodstain is his blood, then...
Yeah, lying on his back, I guess.
Yes, the injury was on his left wrist. From the position of the bloodstain, it would appear he was lying face up on the bed. There was only the one bloodstain, so he didn't move around much after his wrist was slit. If this truly is a suicide, that would mean that he bled to death here. However, the amount of hemorrhaging here seems to be too small for a man to completely bleed out.
I just thought maybe the lamp was knocked over, so...
This is a table. Now that I look closely, the burns are most severe right here. What was burning here? If I send this for analysis, I might find out what was on fire on the table.
And so what, I don't need to do anything? I was looking at like the chain.
It's the ceiling fan. There's a speed selector and a timer. One of the blades seems to be broken, though.
Yeah, I guess repairman came that day.
The electrician had supposedly come to fix the air. I need to review his testimony to confirm what he actually fixed.
Okay.
Who's this in the picture? The deceased's friend? I see. I was so caught up in the case that I didn't check the man's background. Hello, little guy. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I hear you. Did you need something, Dr. Kimishima?
Yes. Can you do me a favor and look into the deceased's friends? I'm going to send you a picture right now. Try getting a hold on whoever that is.
All right. Is there anything in particular you'd like us to find out?
Let's see. First, about the deceased himself. It'd be great to find out more about the day of the incident.
All right. I'll make preparations to have them questioned. I'll send you the recordings of their answers, so please check the recorder.
Good. I'm glad you can get on this so quickly. I'll be counting on you.
Alright, this seems to be all the information I can gather. Isn't it weird that like the posters are stacked on top of each other and that one's like peeling off? I don't know. I think maybe that was a clue, but I guess not. Okay guys, well, sorry to edit it like this, but this video ended up being too long, so I'm gonna have to turn it into 2 videos, so we'll go ahead and end the first one here, and we'll continue this in the next video. Okay, see you then. Bye guys.